Now we're going to take a look at schedules. People had asked us about doing a top 5 toughest, and that's really a hard thing to do because part of it's very subjective.
Right.
So I just picked a few of the schools that look like they have, decently tough schedules. And, everybody's talked about Butler having the toughest schedule. And Butler does have a tough opening schedule. Easy was West Charlotte, but then they have Mallard Creek, then they're at Page, at Mount Tabor, and at Richmond. So the thing that makes those tougher is the fact that they're on the road.
Right.
So I think that overall that is a very tough schedule. Certainly not a schedule that you can just walk through and not play with some kind of intensity. To me, the toughest schedule, I think, is Charlotte Catholics.
Okay.
And Charlotte Catholic opened with Gonzaga, so nationally
Yeah,
recognized
they were
team.
number 3 in the DC area.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So a pretty, as we saw,
Yeah.
a very capable team. Then they traveled to Northwestern, who, by the way, will be number 1 in my power poll this week.
Oh.
I am moving them to number 1. Very impressive win this past Friday night. They're very impressive team. So they're moving to number 1 in my power poll. Very, very tough team. That's an environment. You want to talk about a hostile environment. That'll be a hostile environment for a little Charlotte school to go down into and play in.
Right.
And then they've got Charlotte Country Day, which, folks, I'm going to tell you, that is a tough ball game. Charlotte Country Day.
Well-coached team.
Exactly. Very well-coached team. Lots of good ball players. This game is always a tough ball game. I think very legitimate. As tough a team to play as for Charlotte Catholic as the Richmonds and the other teams are.
Right.
And then they get to finish their non-conference schedule with Mallard Creek.
Oh, that's all.
So, actually, to me, in the power poll, they've got 2 of our top. They got number 1 and number 2.
Yeah.
Mallard Creek and Northwestern in my poll. Certainly, 2 teams in everybody else's poll. So those are my field. Mallard Creek. They opened at Dillon. Very tough game. They got a very tough game with Butler, playing them at home, but Berry kind of drops their toughness of their schedule down, kind of like West Charlotte kind of softens the Butler schedule. And then Mallard Creek plays Charlotte Catholic. So all in all, I think a fairly it's a good schedule to test them who they are. And then I threw down, it was really tough because I know a lot of you out there is going to say, well, we did this, or, Barry's got open with Vance and got Mallard Creek, and I don't remember the rest of the Barry schedule, but certainly those are tough schedules.
Right.
I really kind of stopped at this, and I did throw Huff down. Huff opening with Providence. I think that's a pretty tough opening game, and you can see this kind of drops down in toughness from those top 3. Huff's got Mooresville, a big rival type game.
Yeah. I'll be fired up for that one.
Yeah, Lake Norman and Independence. So there's some games if you sleep on. Obviously, Independence is that's going to be a tough out.
That's going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
Yes,
I might have
exactly.
to check my schedule to see who I'm covering that week.
Exactly. So that's going to be one of those ball games I think most of you want to get out there and see. Going to be a highly competitive game and a very tough game for Huff. So not to say that Huff's schedule equals the schedules that we mentioned previous to this, but in my book I'm giving Charlotte Catholic the nod for the toughest schedule. And Butler and Mallard Creek, I think, are similar in
in terms of strength, I agree. That Butler schedule, though, you got 3 road games back to back to back against 3 perennial playoff teams. And when you look at that one, I think the easiest one may be Mount Tabor out of those 4 teams they have coming up
I
next.
agree.
And, you're talking about a team that made the state quarterfinals last year, so that won't be a walk in the park. But yeah, Catholic definitely decided to challenge themselves this year, and you know, that's great. We talk a lot about scheduling in the off season, about how hard it is to schedule, you know, interstate games or games against national teams. Catholic being a private school has a lot more leeway. Sometimes CMS will force you to play inner city schools from the same, you know, city.
Yep.
Pretty much take care of your own before you can go out. Catholic doesn't have to abide by that, and I applaud them for going out and challenging themselves and giving us fans and followers a lot of great games to look at.
Yeah, you know, Butler fans, you know, you're going to get on me about it, I know, and the next 4 weeks are extremely tough for Butler. But remember that Charlotte Catholic was a 3A school last season. And now they're going up against, you know, sure they've still got their country day, but they got I think for them, it's the teams that they're playing are all maybe in a lot of ways might be tougher teams than what they are. Whereas for Butler should, you know, probably win some of those games. Not saying they're not going to be pressed, but, you know, Mount Tabor, Page, I think Butler will win those ball games. But I think they're going to be tough. You know, they're not going to be easy win ball games.
Right.
And I've got it down as at Page, but something in my mind tells me that game's at Butler. I pulled that off of Max Press, but I think that game's at Butler. Might want to check that, but obviously Butler's got to worry about Mallard Creek this week, which very, very tough team. So.
Right.
I think just out of those games that we've mentioned, there's some really good ball games that we'll be able to see in the preset, or you fans will be able to see here in the non-conference play.
Right. And get out there and check them out, and come to our website, CarolinaVarsity.com, and talk about it.
Yeah, and tell us who you think has the tough schedules, because we probably didn't do a very good job of it in your mind, I'm sure. Thank you. Oh boy.
Self-deprecating humor.
Yeah.